Okay. It
You
is
saw the
recording
routes are
already.
the same as last year.
They are just the rain changes it, and we're doing all the rain routes.
Yeah,
I
they're
think.
just cut off slightly, but yeah, they're the same routes as last year. And then he
The
cut
one
them.
that's like staring down at me.
Yeah. So you've probably all seen to go through the weather first, because I think that's one of the biggest things. On Saturday, it looks like it's going to be intermediate rain. Every weather app that I've looked at is a little different. So we'll see like Friday night, Saturday morning, how much rain we're actually gonna get during the race. But tomorrow it looks like it's going to dump down, and then pulling the extended radar. It looks like it's not loading. I was loading this earlier. It looks like tonight there's going to get some rain through Americus. But so there is going to be a wet course. There's going to be mud. I don't know how much mud there's going to be. There's definitely going to be wet dirt and wet spots on it. Everybody's going to get wet throughout the day. To go through the different courses, do we have anybody here doing the tour? The 20-mile one? I don't believe so. Then there's all the run courses. We'll go through the journey course first. I think the journey is the one that they've actually changed the most out of them. Or at least changes, between the normal route and the rain route. You can see the rain route is blue and the normal route is red. So they take out all of this, which is the Flint Hills Nature Trail, which usually isn't too muddy. It's just really slow in the wet. So that's what they're taking you off of. And then they're putting you on like a road here, which is really nice. And then it's just these straight shot gravel roads. And then they are taking you back off the Flint Hills Nature Trail, which is from Allen to a Meyer. And then they're cutting out this section, which is a bunch of big hills, which is nice. So they are simplifying the course for the journey. It should be a faster course, doing it this way, in my opinion. From what I was able to see, you can see all the road is this solid red. The dashed is the gravel. And if we look back at the weather, the wind is a lot of the big factor. I don't need to highlight that. You can't see it. It's mostly trending from south to north. In the morning, it's going to be a little bit heading west, but mostly south to north. So if we look at that on this map, you get to see we get lots of crosswind and tailwind that way out. And then crosswind and I guess some more tailwind over. And then it's just going to be hammering headwind home. So pace yourself accordingly, knowing that it's going to be a headwind home. If you're racing and trying to be competitive with it, try to survive these tailwinds. Like these tailwinds are going to be very hard, and these are where the group's going to split. And then these crosswinds are going to be difficult. But as soon as you get back to these tailwinds, you can hide in the group. You can sit in with people. If you're with a group at that point, the person in the front does a ton of work in the headwind. But the person in third wheel in a headwind, you almost don't pedal. Like it's a lot easier. So if you're in a big group, it's surviving that section with the group. If you're on your own, it'd be pacing it accordingly to know that you're gonna struggle through that headwind home. So try to see who you're with.
Epic Ride Weather is saying it's like 18 sustained and 25 to 30 gusts on the way home for the journey.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be depends what weather app. They're all a little different, but yeah, that 15 to 20, I think, is the sustained weather that we're going to be seeing out there, wind. So it's going to hammer us, which is a lot. Wind definitely gets higher, and there's always more, but it's a lot. It's always hard pushing headwind of anything over 12, 15 is a lot of wind. So yeah. In terms of climbing, I don't see any huge climbs. You get little ramps at the beginning in the journey. You get a little ramp here. I haven't been through this course. I don't know how big these climbs are. it's hard to tell with GPS on because these climbs are so small. Like this could be a big climb. Like 3% in Kansas usually means it's a fairly big climb because they're just so short that the actual like climb part of it is fairly steep. But you really got to see them in Kansas because we don't have the 20-minute climbs that you get in other places, the hour-long climbs, where you can really see the gradient and how they are on a map. This just usually doesn't do it justice. But yeah, it's going to be a windy day. In terms of weather, I guess the other piece would be the temperature. We're going to start the day at I think it's 50, very high 50s, low 60s. So it's going to be warm. It might be wet. So plan accordingly. There might be, if you're not great in the cold and you kind of freeze up, maybe arm sleeves or leg warmers is a good option and a short sleeve. If you like to run hot and you like the cold, I'm gonna go shorts and a t-shirt. But I suggest at least bringing to the start line arm sleeves or a vest or just one of those small one of those small over top layers that you can take off just so you can feel it out. But usually the start line's way colder than the first 10 minutes of the race because you're sitting there standing around. And then it's going to get hotter. It's going to get up to 76 in the day. 77 is the high of the day. And that's 1 p.m. That's people in the challenge will definitely get into that temperature. The journey, maybe not so much, depending on what speed and what feeling you're going with. I kind of rushed through that. Maybe I'm going too fast, but do you guys have questions about the journey course? Thoughts, concerns? Okay.
There's usually no B roads and it's all pretty smooth gravel. There's not really
Yeah.
any chunky portions. He uses it as like his intro to gravel. So you're not really like if you've done the 80 before, it's a lot tamer than the 80.
Yeah. And I know him going to the rain routes, he's taken all the B roads out of the course, all of the different options except for the adventure, which I don't think anybody on here is doing the adventure. Um, so yeah, there won't be any B roads. You can see the red pieces what the normal route is. He's tried to take out just the slow sections of the Flint Hills Nature Trail, just to keep everybody moving and the course going. Um, Then we can get into the challenge. The people here doing the challenge, correct?
Yep, I am.
Perfect. Um, I'm doing the challenge as well. I've looked into this course quite a bit. I guess I should. So on this, it's the opposite. The blue is the normal course and the red is the rain course. So you can see there's a number of sections cut out, but not a lot. So it's basically the same course as last year, just with any of the B roads cut out. So this down here, if you can kind of see where the yellow dots are on the bottom, is a big B road. They cut all that out. And then there's a B road on the top. That was right before the aid station last year. They cut that out. And then they cut out some of the Flint Hills Nature Trail, but then left in a bunch of it over by a mire. And then they just they cut out this section. I'm not exactly sure why. I didn't think it was too difficult, but this course we head south for quite a bit. So this is all headwind and crosswind. I put it into this website. This website is called My Windsock. This is the free version. There's a lot of paid stuff you can do. I don't pay for any of it. So you'll see there's lots of blocked sections. But I recommend you do this for all your races, especially. Yeah. And it shows you the progression of the weather throughout the day. So at the beginning of the day, like it can show you the temperature. So it shows on this side is the start. On the left-hand side, it shows you're going to start at 57 degrees. And then the right-hand side shows the end and you're ending at 60, 70 degrees. Or, yeah, sorry, 57 for the start, 70 degrees for the end. And this is assuming 4 hours and 6 minutes. So you can put in your own stats for it to get an estimate for how long you are. I try to just adjust the stats to match the time I expect to be out there. And it gives you like how the wind's going to progress. So you can see the arrows are pushing at the beginning more northwest, and then at the end they're pushing directly north because that wind's going to rotate. And it gives you a good progression of how that wind's going to go. So if you're doing long races, the longer, the more important I think this is because the wind changes more. But you get to see, and all of these blue is tailwind, and then the red is headwind. So it's going to be some cross tailwind and then headwind, cross tailwind, headwind, and we're going to flip through this as we head further south. And then it's kind of the first tailwind section heading north around this little horseshoe and then back to headwind. So it's going to be difficult the whole time to get down to this bottom corner down here where this orange dot is, which is around mile 21. And then that's when we flip and start heading north for the middle half of the course. So in my head, I'm really breaking this up into 3 different sections. It's that first section of a lot of headwind, a lot of difficulty. For me, it's hiding in groups and trying to stay with a group to get through there. And then it's a tailwind heading north. So it's kind of floating with that tailwind, using it what I can. And I'll be using some aggression throughout that to make splits. But if you're in a group, it's not crucial to be in a group through these sections with the tailwind. It's not as impactful to be in a group, but it's always nice to have people around. And you cruise up. This is the biggest single stretch of one road. It's 21 miles to 27 miles. You can see on the bottom right here. So it's like 6 miles of the same road. It's going to get a little bit long, and then you go by Lake Cohola, which is beautiful. Always look at the lake.
Isn't that section straight a little bit uphill too? That first tailwind. I think there's an uphill section to it as well.
This road down here.
No, that one to the left, the long
This
road.
one?
I think
Yeah.
I think it's slightly uphill as well. So yeah, you have a tailwind, but you could be burning matches if you're going too hard, like not realizing it, because there's like a 1 or 2% for that far left going north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good note Jason put in. It's like 4 miles of a percentage up, which is just this false flat uphill. Like it just keeps raising, and you can see on the map on the bottom here, it reaches the highest point of the whole day, almost from the lowest point, like way down here. You just kind of consistently are going up.
Yeah. So the problem happens is that you turn that corner and you start feeling the tailwinds. You start feeling good, and then you keep your power up too high during that section because you have that false flat going. So I would just watch yourself during that tailwind section that you're not pushing it too hard.
Yeah, it's a really good note. Yeah. Can't remember these. Yeah, I think they're pretty rolling roads, but yeah, it's consistent rolling uphill, which just makes it tough. As Jason's saying, and provides a really good note of monitor yourself.
You get some,
don't let that tailwind take advantage of you.
And you get some yo-yoing in the group. Like you'll have people that see those slight downhill sections and then start hammering it. And so watch out for the yo-yos in your group, because you don't need the group as bad during that section. So I would just you can let yourself kind of fall off the group just a little bit and not yo-yo as much.
Yeah, or people do the opposite of hammering up the climbs, because there are some good climbs in this section. It's not as important for the next middle section until you're getting to the Dunlap area to have a group, because there's so much tailwind. So if people are pushing over your limit, and you can let them go if you're happy riding your own a little bit. It does get important later on in the day, but we're talking about hours later.
And then the next section, watch out for the lake. The lake is always loose because a lot of the rich big houses are out there, so they pour new gravel all the time, almost yearly. So they'll be there. You know, it's pretty loose out there by the lake. So that's the next that section that he has zoomed in. You know, it's there's a lot of turns and it's usually loose up there.
Yeah.
So that's a concern.
It's also my favorite place on the course. Usually they go around Lake Cahola for Unbound. Down here is a big climb into Lake Cahola. You'll see, like, I recommend you sit up and look around a little bit in this section. It's going to be tricky and tough, as Jason's saying. It's not road as it indicates. It's all gravel. But it's very pretty as well. But yeah, focus on making sure you're taking care of yourself through this section too. I agree with Jason. Yeah, and then getting further north, there's some big pitches in here. So you'll see these little climbs. This is, yeah, a mile long at 2%, which for Kansas, in my opinion, is a big climb. So that's a big one there. And you start pushing north around the town of Dunlap. He did take out, this was one of the infamous B roads up here, which I've seen a number of crashes on. This double track always rutted out. We're not taking that anymore with the rain, which will be nice. Yeah, and we head up to the first aid station. This is the first one? Did I miss one? I missed one. Sorry. The first one is at mile 19. So think about your position in the race, your fueling strategy, if you want to stop there. It's early on, but if you think you're gonna be more solo or you think you want the fueling, you can stop there and then you can stop again. If you're going to stop there and skip this one, I don't recommend that because there just wouldn't be an advantage to that unless you find one. But yeah, then you get to the second aid station at mile 43, which is just over halfway. So do any of you intend on stopping at the aid stations? Greg, what distance are you doing? You're eating. But Stacy, do you intend on stopping at the aid stations, or what's your nutrition plan?
I haven't quite gotten there yet. I'll probably
That's it.
stop at each and fill bottles just in case. I haven't decided if I'm gonna have my pack on or not.
Yeah,
If I don't have my pack on, obviously I'll stop at all aid stations.
yeah. You can't run it with just bottles. Okay, Thomas, you're gonna stop at 2, not number 1. 2 big bottles for you. That's a good strategy. Greg, what's your thoughts?
I'll stop if I need to, but I'll have my hydration pack and bottles on board. So if I don't need to, I won't, but we'll see how I'm feeling.
Okay. Yeah, it's always good to think through those nutrition planning of how many carbs you need and then how many bottles you need. The aid stations are always stocked with fuel. They always have some kind of gels in them. Yeah, they have some kinds of gels. They usually have a drink mix. They have water, and then usually they have a fruit in them. I don't know what type of gels. So if you're very picky in terms of your stomach conditioning, you might want to bring your own gels, but they will have water at all of them, and some drink mix just for extra calories if you're feeling kind of tough out there. Or if the day's taking longer than you expect with the weather and everything that's going on. Yeah. Then we get through this aid station at mile 43, and we kind of finish the tailwind. There's these couple more stretches of tailwind, but it's these long straight roads that are pretty rolling. Trying to think back to think what these roads are. Did we do them last year? We did one, not the other. Yeah, this is
They're
coming out
not-
of the aid station. This is a huge hill here coming out of this aid station. It's
Yeah, but
very
on shared-
steep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but the road's not bad.
Yes.
Road's pretty nice. You can double up on that road.
Yep.
And you're gonna have a heavy crosswind there.
Yeah. Big crosswinds all through here. You get a little reprieve from heading north and back into crosswind, a little bit more reprieve. And then you end the tailwind for the day. So heading up into just beside Bushong, you finish the tailwind, which is this little town. It's just headwind from there, in crosswind. So we head across. These are nice roads. And then you sneak into the Flint Hills Nature Trail. When you're making this turn into the Flint Hills Nature Trail, last time the group I was with, they went the wrong way here, and then they went the wrong way heading south. So just going through this aid station, just take your time getting onto the trail. You end up a long time in the day. This is multiple hours in, 57 miles in. You kind of start getting tough, and then these are tight corners of, oh yeah, this is just a long straight road. We've just been riding long straight roads. Like, do I really need to turn or? And the turns come up quick. So watch that you hit this one, but this is the next aid station at 53. So this is what's that, 13 miles past the previous aid station at 43, sorry, 57, and this one's at 43. So you can make a decision stopping at both, stopping at neither. If you are feeling good at the first one, you can push on to the if you're feeling good on the second one, you can push on to the third one of the day. But this is the last one that's going to take you to the end at 79. So there's 23 miles after this approximately, to get to the finish. So if you don't have 2 bottles coming out of this aid station, at least of water, I'd recommend you fill up. Yeah, just that'd be my safety net, is at least 2 bottles of water and then at least food for 2 hours to do the 23 miles. If you're feeling really good, you could bring an hour of food, but that's kind of close, and you just never know with the wet roads out there.
Oh, Andrew, you're going into the hardest section of the day. The end is the hardest section. So you'll definitely need to have the most amount of water on you. It's gonna be hottest in the headwind.
So saying
Is
that,
there-
don't fall into the trap of filling everything. Fill your full Camelback, fill all your bottles, and finish with 4 liters of water. There's no
Yeah.
point of that. It's understanding it's 23 miles. It's going to be 2 to 2.5 hours. Plan accordingly. But Stacey, sorry to cut you off, or Julie.
Oh, it's me, I think. Jackson, is there a timing map that you have to cross there? Like if you didn't want to go into that aid station, can you just plop? So it looked like it was like you went down.
I don't know that answer. I know last year I rode from this road right into the trail, and I didn't even know this aid station existed, and I never saw it. So I didn't, but Bobby's going to be smart and he will direct you. If there's arrows pointing one way, he'll have you push over the timing mat. But Flint Hills, I don't think has intermediate timing anyways.
They did
So
a couple years.
Because all
They
the
did a-
courses mapped with the exception of the longest one, right? The adventure.
yeah, it won't be
Yes.
marked.
Yeah, you'll have a
It-
map though. You'll have a
You'll have a
Yeah.
map,
GPS map.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
the GPS map right here that you'll be able to put onto your GPS, but there won't be any like turn here. It'll be like the Sunday chug where you just follow your GPS map.
But he never, like, when he did have mats a couple years ago, he didn't put them on the aid stations, like where you had to go into the aid station to go over the mat. It was on the course, so you could skip all the aid stations if you wanted and still have the mats. But last year, I don't think he had any. But 2 years ago, he did.
Because it just shows full course in the results.
Yeah, so he didn't have it last year.
So there won't be any timing mats. So if you skip the aid station here and just ride into the Flint Hills Nature Trail, it should be fine. If there's arrows pointing you a direction, follow the arrows, because that will be cutting the course, not following the arrows. But if there's no arrows, just continue on your way, following the GPS.
Yeah, I didn't see anything in
Any-
the athlete guide about timing math and having to hit any of those in the middle of the course.
Section of staying on course, but it's do everything in your ability to stay on course. Yeah. And then this section of the Flint Hills Nature Trail is going to be slow. The Flint Hills Nature Trail just gets the rail trails aren't compacted as well as roads with the lack of cars, so they just get sloppy. So your tires kind of just sink into them. So they're just slow, and then it's going to be crosswind into headwind to get through that. So if you end up going in that slower than you expect, take that as you will. Take that as the start of the headwind and the start of the end. It's a long ways from home still, and a lot of headwind that you'll be pushing through. So kind of mentally bear down, get ready that this second half of the course, you can see these red lines are headwind, and the blue lines are tailwind, but there's not strong tailwind on these blue lines. So it's just direct headwind. You can see the arrows of the wind flowing north through the course. So yeah, it's tailwind home. These are pretty good roads though. There's some very pretty roads. This creek crossing is very pretty, with this little U shape here. Where I don't remember any other super pretty roads, but this, I guess this road going across here is very difficult. I remember riding it, and there's a bunch of big hills, and it's a tough one to get across. And then you just get hit with the headwind, and then you head back into it. The nice news is there is 0.8 of a mile to finish. So it's, if your Garmin says you need 79.4 to finish, really it's 70, get to like high 78 and you hit the road. And then from there you just cruise in. And this road is long to get in. If you're going to sprint anybody, you're going to sprint your group, or try to be competitive with them, don't sprint at the corner, sprint way further in, get a good look at the road first, and then go. But if you're riding and enjoying the day, you just have to make it to that turn, and then from there it's just smooth cruising in.
Yeah, it's also slightly downhill too. So if you're looking at a sprint, it's definitely way longer than you expect because it's downhill into town.
Sprint one of these roads back here, way at the end here. So yeah, that's the most of the course for the challenge. Does anybody have any questions or nutrition thoughts or ideas?
So the last thing is that if it's not raining on Saturday, they will definitely be burning. So just get ready. If you haven't been out there, they burn a lot. And since it's been bad weather recently with a lot of rains, there's probably a lot of farmers that are going to be burning. So just get ready for a smoke show.
Yes. So they always burn. These are my glasses that I used last year. So my technique that I use when I'm riding, I have two hands on the bars, and if the burning's coming this way across my face, I put my hand up to the edge of my glasses. And what it'll do, I won't have a hat on, it'll block a lot of the smoke from getting into your glasses so you can see better. What happens is, for me at least, so people get lung issues where it's hard to breathe, but I get it, so the smoke gets in my eyes and I can't keep them open. So I can cover my face and keep my eyes open more. And it's a good strategy. Just covering, and just this much covering will give you a lot of the smoke out of your face so you can ride further. So you can see for longer as you get through it. The smoke is tough, very hard to see, very hot. Yes, Jason?
If they potentially like a fire jumps a road, they might reroute you, but they'll have people out there to tell you which way to go. So they'll have people at different corners to reroute you like one more road up or something. Because the end of the course last year was rerouted because a fire jumped. So instead of like taking the very end, they moved it over like one road.
I don't think they adjusted it because of I think there was an ambulance and a medical issue that
Oh
they
no!
took.
Oh,
But
when we got up there,
I
the fire was right there too.
I rode past the ambulance that was blocking the road. They
Oh,
moved it
really?
over. I think it was an ambulance issue.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it was
say
a
there's a fire.
last year. Yeah, it was a medical emergency. With to add on to the fire stuff, they won't reroute it. I mean, I've had fires on both sides of the ditch and right through. I mean, you can feel the heat if they're burning,
Yeah.
but if it's raining, I don't know if they will be. So I'm
I
hoping they're not burning due to the rain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right now I
I've
can't.
had it. Sorry, I've had it several ways with the smoke. I've had a couple of really smoky days. Gosh, it was 5, 6, 7 years ago. One of the first years of the race, there actually was a fire that jumped the road and they rerouted us and everybody just was kind of scrambling and getting back to town in different ways. I've also had a year where it was so windy that they didn't burn because it was too windy. So I've had all kinds of scenarios there. So uh, yeah, it's kind of prepare for anything, I guess, on that one.
Yeah, if it's dry, they'll burn. Even last year, I think it was 30 miles an hour wind and they still burned, even though I think it was illegal.
2 years ago was the clearest air I've ever had at that race. It was a nice day except for the wind.
Yeah. Be careful of the burning. It gets hot, it gets smoky. Take care of yourself through those sections. It gets kind of wild. I wish I was able to film some of those sections because it's kind of cool and wild. Um, the next piece to go into is echelons. So when we are riding in these crosswinds, into the headwind and the tailwind, you can ride like front and back with the person. But when you're riding with a crosswind, you want to ride across the road. So you can see this in like road cycling is very common because they're ultra competitive and they're trying to find every edge. But in gravel, it needs to be used more, in my opinion. And I've ridden with very, very strong riders who don't know how to ride in echelons, and they still ride front to back, even though there's a 20-mile-an-hour crosswind. Like this section going across here, they'll still be riding directly behind me, but the optimal piece is to be riding slanted like these guys are. You can see the wind is going to be really hard from the right-hand side. So they're all going, and you can see like this guy or these guys on the far right have nobody in front of them. So it looks like they're not drafting, but because that wind is pushing the draft over, they're actually in the optimal spot. And then the a little bit more advanced piece to that is you can see the guy on the very back who's struggling. He's up out of the saddle, pushing. He's not getting a draft. He's in the hardest spot. Like usually the easiest spot is you're at the end of the group and you're kind of just hiding in and you can sit in and you don't do any work because you don't roll through. And it's really easy to do that. But in these echelons, because the road is only so wide and gravel's even harder because there's only so many spots you can ride on the road, that it's typically easier to ride when you're rotating through in the echelon. Like to be these guys on the right-hand side and to be in the echelon rotating through, because you can measure your pull and okay, I'm gonna pull within my limits and then I'm gonna slide over and rotate around and follow the rotation that the group is doing. It's easier to be up there than to be this guy on the very back who, when the road gets a little bit smaller, gets pushed out of the ability to be beside somebody. And now they have to ride behind the group. And now he's really struggling and he's up out of the saddle and doing more work than these guys who look like pretty relaxed in the middle. So through these crosswinds, if you are in a group, you don't want to be directly behind them. You want to find a spot that's somewhere beside them. And it will change depending on how fast you're moving and what direction the wind is going. But you can start feeling it by how turbulent the wind is and where that draft is. It's really important. to do. That's my small little piece on echelons. I will be focusing on echelons the whole day and really finding that spot and that pocket in the wind of where I can optimally sit behind somebody or beside somebody and moving around and constantly finding that. And it's really important, in my opinion, to be always looking for that spot, and it always changes. Just with how the road is moving and the wind changes and how fast you're going and whether you're uphill or downhill, it's constantly sliding and moving. So it's a constant thing to be looking at and affecting your riding. And then the last piece of this meeting to go through is equipment choices. Does everybody have any fun special? I think Julie put in the chat, what tires are everybody running? What tires are people running? Everybody's running Pathfinders? Is anybody running anything other than a Pathfinder?
I just took my Pathfinders off and put some MVs on 2 weeks ago.
Which NV tires? Do you know?
Oh, hell, I don't know. Great question, Jackson.
It's okay.
I know
running-
they're 40. I know they're 48s, but they're knobby little guys, like little octagons.
Better question, what size Pathfinders are you running?
I'm running 50s. 50 Pathfinders, that is. I've done 47 Pathfinders out there for the last 3 years. And I've had really good luck.
Stores. Everybody running.
What do you
Jackson,
have
what are you
on,
running?
Jackson?
2.2 Race Kings or Dubnatals. So I'm running mountain bike tires.
Oh, you
Um,
Dylan Johnson?
I'm on the mountain bike tire trend, and I've been running them since the end of January and been loving it.
Nice.
I used to run Pathfinders, and I used to run 40 mil Pathfinders, so smaller side, but I have so much more grip because these are knobby tires. They're super fast, in my opinion, riding with other people on Pathfinders. So I'm cornering faster than a lot of the people because I have more grip, and then in the straight lines, I'm not losing anything. And then I have not run into any puncture issues in 2,000 miles. What are you running, Jason?
Oh, 45 Pathfinders.
45 Pathfinders, nice.
Yeah, I ran 42s for the longest time, and then they stopped making those, so now I'm at 45s.
Yeah, I like the TLR. I think when they changed over from like the 42 and 47 to the 45 and 50, I think they got better.
Yeah.
Glad to
Yeah.
hear that. Mine are so new that I can't say that yet. I've got
Yeah, I think they're good.
I've got probably close to 1,000 miles on them, but not enough on gravel yet to say the difference. But they feel so close to the 47s.
Yeah. So I see you wrote in that you're running 32s. This is going to be a difficult course with 32s. I don't know if you mentioned what distance you're running, if you're doing the journey or the challenge. You mentioned the challenge, so I think you're doing the challenge. I'd recommend looking in to see if you can find a different bike to run something bigger. 32s is just going to push you around a lot. It's going to be really bumpy. It's not impossible. People have run smaller tires and done it, but yeah, it's going to be tough on a 32. But also, for 2 days before the event, maybe just send it. Yeah, it's part of it. There is chunky gravel and tough sections. The Flint Hills are not easy by any means. You'll learn that on Saturday. What tires are you running, Tyler? You look like you hopped on, excited to say something.
47 Pathfinder Pros.
Nice.
Ram all here, no issues. And so, only thing I don't like is if you're standing climbing, you can sometimes spin out. You have to stay seated, but
Yeah. Yeah, to see fine with the Pathfinders. And then
You know,
cornering, oh, keep going.
Do you know if Jason's bringing a tent or?
Jason Chase is intending on showing up early and setting up the move up tent. Yeah. So there should be a move up tent. If anybody feels loving, kind, thoughtful, and wants to show up a little bit extra early and help him set up, he would very much appreciate the support and the help. But he's also very capable and will get it done. But he appreciates support and help and everything that he does, and he does a lot for this team.
Is he putting that up tomorrow or Saturday morning?
Saturday morning. He'll probably be there at like 6:30, setting that up.
Is the purpose to just drop stuff in there?
I wouldn't leave anything purpose. It's more of a hangout area afterwards. People will be at a variety of distances and variety of times. You'll get people doing the tour, you get people doing the journey, the challenge, the adventure. So people will be done. Family can hang out there and stuff. So it's more of a finish line thing, not really a start line piece. Yeah. Does anybody else have any cool tech things they've added? Aero bars, disc wheels, 3D printed parts, anything else that they've thought was cool and they want to share with the group?
I would pack a paint stick.
Yes.
Another reason why I don't want to do the 120. Paint stick, mud, and a foot that might feel like it's broken at that point.
So for paint sticks, a lot of people use wooden paint sticks. This is a silicone spatula, and it's real thin. This is what I find is optimal. The wooden paint sticks, if it's real wet, they deteriorate as wood will in the wet. They'll just slowly start falling apart. If you're using them multiple times, they start falling apart. This is silicone, so it never falls apart. This never gets cooked with, obviously. But for me, this is something that'll end up in my back pocket. And then it's thin enough that it can slide between my tire and my frame and push stuff out. And then it's also curvy and bendy. So it can slide in there and push out more mud, or I can slide it in that top, with your front tire and push that out and the sides bend down. And it's also got a metal, like this is metal and doesn't bend in the middle. So it is solid, and I can use like the back end too if something's really hard and doesn't go. So this is something that I picked up. I forget where I got it, but Target or something. 10, 15 bucks. It might have been Walmart even on the way to Unbound. Goes a lot further than a wooden paint stick, in my opinion. Something of this manner, thicker, thinner. You can kind of play with the different opinions. Some people use paint brushes, and they like that idea. Because they're a little more pliable and they don't fall apart like a wooden paint stick. But yeah, something to push the mud out that gets stuck between your tire and the frame on the front of your bike, and then on the back of your bike between the seat tube that goes up and down, and then the tire. And you got to be able to get something in there and push the mud out.
I've used a plastic ruler before, like a kid's ruler.
Stick ruler would be a great idea because that's thin enough to be able to push in there and rigid enough that it's not going to fall apart.
Yeah. That's the other thing
So
I've
good.
heard.
With the rerouting to the rain route, how much mud do you think you'll truly be dealing with?
He has taken out all of the B roads. I don't think there'll be very much mud, but
It depends. Yeah, it depends on how much it rains over the next 2 days. Like if it doesn't really rain, then not much, but just depends.
Has the rain started there yet?
No.
Or is it supposed to start tonight?
Yeah. The next like 2
Yes.
hours.
supposed to start tonight.
Is the mud worse than the mud at South Mid-South?
So the problem with the mud there is it has like parts of rock in it. So it just clogs up everything because it has like little chunks of rock in it. So like literally in Rockridge last year, I like destroyed my whole fork because it was like scratching the whole thing up. It was just clogging everything up. Like you can't ride in it. It gets so chunky. It's not like mud per se. Like you pick up mud, it's like mud full of rocks. So you're like, that's why it's like you have to have something other than a paint stick, is because you're pushing out rocks and not just pure mud. So that's the problem, is it's rocky mud. But your bike picks it up real quick.
It doesn't slide off the tires, which is why like people can't continue through it. Like you could be the best bike handler in the world. Like Nino sure couldn't ride through it because he would just get like it sticks to the tires and clogs. And it's not a technical thing. It's just how the Flint Hills mud picks up. And Jason's talking with the Flint Hills as well, not Mid-South.
Yes. Yeah.
But there's two types of roads out there. They have the maintained road and then the unmaintained road. Or B roads is what they call them. The maintained roads are gravel roads that get compacted with a granular surface. So it's an engineered gravel that they use and compact it down, and then they lay stone over top to maintain it. The unmaintained roads use an organic mud material that they use, which is just the surface dirt that they just let drive over, and that is the compaction for it. So those B roads that are unmaintained, that mud will pick up. Yes, Tyler's showing us great options. So those B roads will pick up mud because it is just dirt on them. But the roads that aren't B roads have an engineered compacted surface, and it's dirt that won't get picked up. So it'll spray you, and you're gonna get sprayed and covered in little pebbles all over you, but it's not gonna slow you down and stop you. The B roads will slow you down and stop you. There might be sections of the maintained roads that are unmaintained or are soil or dirt that you still get caught up with, which I can't guarantee won't have any, which is why I don't know if we're gonna have to walk at all, but it's gonna be 95% not walking. There might be a small couple sections where we have to get off and walk or run. Yeah. So we will see. The other piece is just drafting in that dirt is always a little more difficult. Because it just starts spraying up at you. There we go. But we'll get through it all. So this is Unbound 2023. So you can see how in her frame on the side here, the mud has built up. So you can't continue. So you can see stuff like this. This has quite a bit of dirt in it or grass in it. But it's not like the mud is tricky to ride. It's just the buildups of it is what really struggles. The moto wasn't even able to ride through there. So I don't know. I don't think we're gonna hit a ton of these sections. You can see all the buildup in front of his tire. But if you do, my suggestion is you get off and start walking as soon as possible. And so your bike doesn't clog up and you can keep your bike as clean as possible. Because then as soon as it clears up, you can hop on your bike. Everybody else will be looking for whatever they can find to clear it out. Their spatula or their paint stick or just a stick on the road or whatever they can do. And then you'll be cleaning off the bottom of your shoes like this person is, because you just end up with a shoe cake of mud. That's gross, but it's part of it. But yeah, this is what Unbound looked like. It was fun. But we're all gonna end up looking like this if it's raining. Just speckled with mud. No matter what, this is where we're gonna end up, but hopefully with clear forest and we're not walking. Yeah, so that's all the call I have for today. Anybody want to bring up any other ideas, thoughts, people excited for the day? It's you, Tyler?
Tyler, you muted.
That was Unbound on the South course 2 years ago. I think
23?
2 or 3. Yeah, 3 years ago. Yeah, that was the mud set, not the race where the mud. Well, I can't remember. Not the mud that was right out the gate, like at mile 10. That was like probably mile 80, 70 on a
It's
B road.
this end?
Yeah,
I
that's
was there
where
that year too. You had to walk. You had to walk like 2 miles that year.
Yeah, the thunderstorm hit later in the day. The pros
Yeah.
came right through that when I was on it.
Yeah, they rode the whole thing. It was crazy. I was sitting there on the side trying to walk through the grass when they came through.
It's crazy.
Yeah, for
Section,
me,
hours.
the 100-miler pros came blowing through that section when I was walking, the very first section, when I was nearing the end of it walking. Tiffany Cromwell came blowing past me on her bike.
It's always fun to see, and just seeing how
Yeah.
insane they are and
Yeah.
how much they're pushing.
One tip, you guys have probably all carried paint sticks and know this, but I learned a hard lesson in 23. I had the silicone spatula just like you. I secured it under my top tube bag, so it was just completely out of the way. But once you use it, the dirt on it dries and will scratch your paint on your bike if you store it under your top tube bag.
Just go to the pocket so I can grab and just start going at it, and I don't have to deal with anything.
Yeah, for some reason I didn't want to be dirty, so I didn't put it in my back pocket. Kidding. Everybody was dirty
As
that
I
year.
said, didn't want to be dirty.
Yeah, go Red Road. Definitely.
Yeah.
So is this a good timing for Kent on everybody ordering new jerseys after Flint Hills? Does it all be trashed?
Just wash it out. I use the same kit that I've used in all of those muddy races. You just wash it and it's fine. As long as there's no holes, but there's holes in every jersey with the pin numbers and stuff.
Maple Grinder was pretty wet and dirty this year.
Yeah, Maple Leaf looked terrible. Might go into that, I think. Were you there, Julie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all were.
So it
So
should
it
be
sucked.
similar to that.
Those roads weren't bad though. Like they were wet and you were dirty and you were covered, but they were all rideable.
It's what these all should be as well.
Okay.
Unless
I'm
there's a B road or an unmaintained road, they should be just like that. With my experience riding down there in the rain. Yeah, well, that's everything for today. Good luck at the race on Saturday in 2 days from now. Keep an eye on the weather. I think we're doing the rain course 100% is what I've seen on all social media. So make sure that's loaded. I go through my Garmin course and add where the aid stations are just so I have them. Even if I'm not going to hit them, just so I know, okay, I'm in an emergency, I need food. This is where the next aid station is going to be. I can stop at it. And then if there's any key points, add it to your Garmin map. If you don't use Garmin, you can probably find in Wahoo, Strava, Rider GPS. One of them you can add waypoints that'll affect you. If you see me during the day, come say hi. I know most of you people and always enjoy talking to all of you. And yeah, enjoy what you do. Look around, smile. It's beautiful.
Thanks for hosting this, Jackson.
Yes, of course.
Yep, thank you. Enjoy Saturday,
don't-
everybody.
Don't
Be
break
safe.
anything else, Tyler.
Yes.
That's the plan.
Remember, we get to ride our bikes.
Yes,
Are
definitely.
you
Greg.
planning on the 70? Are you doing the challenge or the journey, Tyler?
The 79 mile one. I'll see how it goes. Yeah.
We'll see. Okay. Good night, everybody.
All
Thanks,
right,
Jackson.
good night. Bye.
Take care, everyone.